No one has held the royal title of Princess of Wales since Princess Diana, but Kate Middleton will soon. Is that scary for her, or is she ready to take up her mother-in-law's mantle? Keep watching for what she said.
Kate Middleton is making rare comments about her late mother-in-law, Princess Diana. While on a royal visit to Wales with her husband, Prince William, on Friday, the Princess of Wales made rare comments about Diana.
What if everything you thought you knew about Princess Diana's death was just the surface of a much deeper, more devastating truth? What if the beloved people's princess carried a secret so profound that it would shake the very foundations of the British royal family forever? Recently, Princess Catherine found herself at the center of an earth-shattering discovery that left her in tears and changed the royal narrative completely.
The first glimpse of the ring, as worn by William's mother, Princess Diana.
I would love to have met her, and she's obviously she's an inspirational woman to look up to. You know, it's a wonderful family.
A simple DNA test, meant to satisfy curiosity, instead unveiled a truth that Diana had taken to her grave, a secret so powerful it explains decades of silence, sacrifice, and the real reason behind her tragic end. Stay with us to uncover the shocking truth behind this story that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about the royal family. The unexpected discovery that changed everything. The walls of Kensington Palace have witnessed countless secrets over the centuries, but none quite like what unfolded on that ordinary Tuesday afternoon. Princess Catherine, now firmly established as a pillar of strength within the royal family, had always felt a deep connection to her late mother-in-law, Princess Diana. Though they never met, Catherine often found herself wondering about the woman whose shadow still loomed large over the monarchy, whose legacy continued to inspire millions around the world. It started innocently enough. Catherine had been sorting through some of William's personal belongings, items that had been stored away since his mother's passing. Among the collection of photographs, letters, and mementos, she discovered something unexpected, a small, sealed envelope with her name written on it in Diana's distinctive handwriting. The discovery sent chills down her spine. How could Diana have known about Catherine decades before William would even meet her? William was equally puzzled when Catherine showed him the envelope. His hands trembled as he held the paper that bore his mother's writing. For years, he had believed he knew everything about his mother's final days, her struggles, her hopes for her son's futures. But this envelope suggested there were layers to Diana's story that remained untold, secrets that she had deliberately kept hidden even from those closest to her. The contents of the envelope were cryptic, but intriguing. Diana had written about a truth that must be protected, and mentioned something about the real legacy I leave behind. Most puzzling of all was a reference to a DNA sample that she had secretly preserved, along with instructions that it should only be tested when the time is right and the family is ready for the complete truth. Catherine and William exchanged worried glances. What could Diana have possibly discovered that required such secrecy? What truth was so dangerous that she felt compelled to hide it, even from her own sons? The questions multiplied with each reading of the letter, and despite their initial hesitation,
private letters written by the late Princess Diana are set to be auctioned today in England. The letters, written to a Buckingham Palace steward who was Diana's close friend, offer an intimate look at the royal family's life between 1984 and 1993.
They knew they had to follow through with Diana's instructions. The DNA test that unveiled hidden truths. The decision to proceed with the DNA testing wasn't made lightly. Catherine and William spent weeks debating whether they were prepared for whatever truth might emerge. They consulted with trusted advisors, sworn to secrecy, and arranged for the most discreet and reliable genetic testing available. The sample Diana had preserved was in remarkably good condition, carefully stored with the foresight of someone who knew its importance would only grow with time. As they waited for the results, both Catherine and William found themselves revisiting everything they thought they knew about Diana's life. They pored over old interviews, photographs, and private family moments, searching for clues they might have missed. Diana had always been known for her intuition, her ability to see beyond the surface of situations. Had she discovered something about the royal bloodline that others had missed or deliberately ignored? The testing process took several weeks, each day feeling longer than the last. Catherine found herself unable to concentrate on her royal duties, her mind constantly wandering to the possibilities. What if the results revealed something that would fundamentally change how the world viewed the royal family? What if Diana's secret was something that could destroy the monarchy itself? When the results finally arrived, delivered personally by the geneticist to ensure absolute confidentiality, Catherine and William gathered in their private study. The sealed envelope containing the findings sat on the table between them, representing either the end of their questions or the beginning of an entirely new chapter in their understanding of the royal family's history. William's hands shook as he opened the envelope. The technical language of the genetic report was difficult to decipher at first, but as the implications became clear, both Catherine and William felt the ground shift beneath their feet. The DNA analysis revealed something that neither of them had expected, something that explained so much about Diana's behavior in her final years, her increasing distance from certain members of the royal family, and her desperate attempts to protect her sons from forces they couldn't yet understand. The shocking truth about royal bloodlines. The genetic analysis revealed a truth that sent shockwaves through everything Catherine and William believed about their family history. Diana's DNA sample, when compared with comprehensive royal genealogical records, showed inconsistencies that challenged the very foundations of the modern British monarchy. The results suggested that Diana had discovered evidence of genetic irregularities within the royal bloodline discrepancies that had been hidden for generations and could potentially invalidate certain claims to the throne. But the revelation went deeper than mere genealogy. Diana's investigation, conducted in secret during her final years, had uncovered a pattern of deliberate concealment spanning decades. Previous monarchs and their advisors had apparently been aware of these genetic anomalies, but had chosen to suppress the information to maintain stability and continuity of the crown. Diana's discovery threatened to expose not just genetic irregularities, but a systematic cover-up that reached the highest levels of the establishment. Catherine felt overwhelmed as the full implications sank in. Diana hadn't just been fighting for her son's emotional well-being during her tumultuous final years, she had been protecting them from a truth that could have destroyed their entire future. The secret explained her increasingly erratic behavior, her paranoia about being watched and monitored, and her desperate attempts to maintain some control over her son's destiny. The DNA evidence also revealed something else that left Catherine in tears. Diana's genetic profile showed markers that connected her to ancient royal bloodlines in ways that had never been publicly acknowledged. This wasn't just about genetic irregularities, it was about Diana's own legitimate claim to royal heritage, a claim that had been systematically ignored or suppressed because it didn't fit the narrative that those in power wanted to maintain. William struggled to process the magnitude of what they had discovered. His mother hadn't just been the people's princess through marriage and public affection, she had been royal by blood in ways that the establishment had never wanted to acknowledge. The tragic irony was overwhelming. Diana had been treated as an outsider, criticized for not understanding royal traditions, when in fact her genetic heritage was more authentically royal than many of those who had rejected her. The mother's ultimate sacrifice. As Catherine and William delved deeper into Diana's hidden research, they began to realize the true extent of their mother's sacrifice, a weight far greater than they had ever imagined. Diana had not only uncovered shocking genetic truths, but had also recognized the grave danger tied to such revelations. Her private notes, found carefully preserved alongside the DNA samples, revealed her growing fear that powerful figures within the establishment would stop at nothing to silence her. These writings were not the ramblings of paranoia, but the careful observations of a woman who knew she was being watched and who sensed danger closing in. The papers painted a haunting picture of a mother torn between her unshakable commitment to truth and her desperate instinct to shield her children from harm. Every page bore evidence of her meticulous research, but also her dawning realization that revealing this knowledge could place William and Harry in mortal peril. The same forces that had buried genetic evidence for generations would not hesitate to destroy anyone who threatened to expose them. Catherine wept as she read Diana's journals, each entry filled with anguish and impossible choices. Critics once dismissed Diana's fears as emotional instability, but here they stood revealed as chillingly accurate warnings. The most heartbreaking discovery was Diana's final letter, written only days before her death in Paris.
I'm Patrick Stinson with breaking news coverage. Princess Diana is seriously injured and 2 other people have died following a car crash in Paris. Police confirm the crash has killed.
In it, she confessed her hope that one day, when her sons were older and stronger, they would uncover the truth she had hidden for them. She envisioned a future where transparency would no longer be a threat to the monarchy, but a source of strength, an opportunity to rebuild trust. Her decision to conceal the DNA evidence and supporting documents with such foresight reflected remarkable courage and wisdom. Diana understood that immediate exposure would be catastrophic, but she trusted that eventual discovery, in the right time, could change everything and perhaps even redeem the very institution she had once fought against, yet still loved, in her own way. The royal family's moment of reckoning. The discovery of Diana's secret forced Catherine and William to confront fundamental questions about their roles and responsibilities. They now possessed information that could reshape public understanding of the monarchy, but they also carried the weight of their mother's fears about the consequences of revelation. The choice they faced was remarkably similar to the one Diana had confronted decades earlier. Catherine found herself thinking about her own children and their future. Would they grow up in a monarchy built on hidden truths and suppressed evidence? Or would they inherit an institution that had found the courage to face its history honestly? The decision felt impossibly heavy, but Catherine also felt the presence of Diana's spirit guiding her toward transparency and truth. William wrestled with anger and grief in equal measure. He was furious that his mother had been forced to carry such a burden alone, that she had died believing she had to protect her sons from the truth rather than trust them with it. But he was also profoundly moved by the depth of her sacrifice, the way she had chosen their safety over her own vindication. The couple spent countless hours in private, often late into the night, discussing the weight of the options before them. They could choose to protect Diana's secret, burying the truth forever, allowing the monarchy to continue unchanged while shielding themselves and their children from the inevitable storm that such revelations would unleash. Yet with each passing conversation, they felt the pull of Diana's words, her hope that one day transparency would triumph over silence. Honoring her wishes meant risking everything: reputation, legacy, and even safety. But it also meant ensuring that truth finally prevailed over the preservation of a carefully guarded institution. As they examined Diana's work more closely, the decision became clearer. Her research carried implications, and that reached far beyond the royal family's private struggles. The genetic evidence she had uncovered held the potential to resolve historical mysteries that had puzzled researchers and historians for generations. This was not just about palace intrigue or bloodlines, it was about rewriting parts of British history with accuracy and integrity. Scholars and the public alike could benefit from such revelations, finally gaining answers to questions long left in the shadows. Diana's research was not merely personal, it was profoundly historical. Catherine and William also realized that Diana's legacy offered hope for the monarchy's future. Her discoveries suggested that royal bloodlines were far more intricate, diverse, and compelling than the official narratives had ever admitted. This complexity did not weaken the crown, it humanized it. In an age where authenticity mattered more than polished perfection, this truth could transform the monarchy's image. By embracing honesty and vulnerability, the institution could finally connect with modern audiences on a deeper level. Diana's work, once hidden in secrecy, had the power to build bridges between past and present, tradition and change, silence and truth. Breaking the silence. After decades, the moment of truth arrived during a private family gathering that would forever be marked as a turning point in royal history. Catherine and William laid out their discoveries before key family members, their voices steady, but their hearts racing as they watched expressions shift from shock to disbelief, and finally, to reluctant comprehension. A heavy silence followed, thick with unspoken realizations, as everyone present began to grasp the weight of what had been uncovered and how it could alter the legacy of the crown forever. Not everyone agreed on the next step. Some senior figures fiercely resisted the notion of releasing such information, insisting that Diana's caution had been wise. They warned that exposing these secrets could destabilize the monarchy at a moment when stability and unity were more vital than ever. The debate grew heated, and each argument laced with passion, questions of loyalty, truth, and the immense cost of silence filling the air like an invisible storm. Then Catherine's voice rose, calm yet commanding, cutting through the rising tension. She spoke of Diana's immense sacrifice, of the heavy toll decades of secrecy had inflicted on their family, and of the rare opportunity they now held to honor her memory. Her words trembled with emotion as she recounted the pain of reading Diana's journals, where every line revealed not weakness, but strength, not paranoia, but foresight. For the first time, she said, she understood the unbearable loneliness Diana had endured and the depth of her fear. And it was this understanding that demanded they act with courage rather than retreat into silence. William supported his wife with quiet determination. He spoke about his mother's legacy and what she would have wanted for her grandchildren. Diana had always believed in the power of truth to heal, even when that truth was difficult to accept. She had taught her sons to be honest, to be vulnerable, to connect with people through shared humanity rather than distant perfection. The family ultimately agreed to a carefully planned process of revelation. Rather than dumping all the information at once, they would work with historians, geneticists, and communication experts to present Diana's discoveries in a way that honored both her memory and the stability of the institution. The truth would finally be told, but it would be told thoughtfully and with consideration for all those affected. The legacy of truth and transparency. The decision to reveal Diana's secret marked the beginning of a new era for the British royal family. The genetic evidence and historical research she had compiled were presented to the public through a series of carefully crafted documentaries and academic papers. The response was overwhelmingly positive, with many people expressing admiration for the family's courage in confronting difficult truths about their past. Catherine emerged as a powerful voice for this new transparency. Her emotional response to discovering Diana's secret resonated with people around the world who had always sensed that there were hidden depths to the Diana story. Catherine's tears, captured in photographs as she spoke about the discovery, became symbolic of a royal family finally willing to show genuine emotion and vulnerability. The genetic revelations also shed new light on Diana's relationship with the establishment. Many of her conflicts with royal protocol and tradition were now understood as the natural result of her different genetic heritage and the unconscious recognition of her authentic royal bloodline. Rather than being an outsider who never quite fit in, Diana was revealed as someone whose royal instincts had been more genuine than those of many who had criticized her. William found that understanding his mother's secret gave him a new sense of purpose in his role as future king. he began incorporating Diana's values of transparency and emotional honesty into his public duties, creating a more accessible and authentic version of royal leadership. The burden of the secret, once lifted, was replaced by the power of truth to inspire and heal. The revelation also had unexpected benefits for historical research and public understanding of royal genealogy. Diana's meticulous documentation provided scholars with new insights into centuries of royal bloodlines, correcting long-held assumptions and opening new avenues of research. Her work was recognized as a significant contribution to historical scholarship, adding an academic dimension to her already impressive legacy. Most importantly, the truth about Diana's secret allowed her sons to finally understand the full scope of their mother's love and sacrifice. They realized that her sometimes erratic behavior in her final years hadn't been weakness or instability. It had been the natural response of someone carrying an enormous burden while trying to protect the people she loved most. The story of Diana's secret DNA discovery reminds us that truth has a power all its own, even when it remains hidden for decades. Catherine's tears upon learning about her mother-in-law's sacrifice weren't just tears of sadness, they were tears of understanding, recognition, and profound respect for a woman who chose love over self-preservation. Diana's final secret, once revealed, didn't destroy the royal family as she had feared. Instead, it gave them the opportunity to build something stronger, more honest, and more connected to the values that really matter. The people's princess had given them one last gift: the courage to choose transparency over secrecy, truth over convenience, and authentic connection over distant perfection. If this incredible story of royal secrets, DNA discoveries, and a mother's ultimate sacrifice moved you as much as it moved us, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more fascinating stories from behind palace walls. What do you think about Diana's incredible sacrifice? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so you never miss our latest royal revelations.